Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks again for joining me, Jason Pizzino. Let's get into today's video. 13 things that are costing you money and time. Now, obviously this is a personal finance channel, also lifestyle design, so I think this topic blends the two together extremely nicely. We know there are plenty of videos out there on YouTube and tons of blog posts floating out there on the internet around things that you should implement into your morning routine. But it's almost like there's just so many that the list just goes on and on and on and on. So this video touches on morning routine items that we should stop doing, things that we have put into our morning routines more than likely subconsciously, and that we continue to do because it just feeds our little adrenaline hits. I think you get the idea of some of them, but I'm sure I'll bring you a few that you haven't thought of and that can hopefully bring you more money and more time into your mornings. So without further ado, let's jump into the items that are costing you money and time. And on the flip side, let's throw in some examples that we can replace them with. The first thing, and almost all of us do this and we know we shouldn't do it, it's checking social media first thing in the morning. I'm as guilty as everyone else when it comes to this, and I'll go through periods where I will turn my phone on airplane mode at night so that I can't look at it throughout the night if I wake up, or first thing in the morning when I'm just about to jump out of bed to start my day. It maybe lasts a couple of days and then it goes back to the old habit. So I'm really trying to work on this one myself. If you've got ideas around this one, leave them in the comments below. And I really want to crush this habit because it takes so much time. It takes brain energy first thing in the morning. It's full of non-information. It's full of stuff that we don't need. It really just feeds on that need to feel a hit in the morning. On top of this, the compounding effect of starting a morning with a bad routine like this, checking social media, is that it does away with all of the good work that we've created to make our morning routines good. So it's the first thing that we do. We always pick the phone up and we check our social medias. Turn off notifications, that's an easy one. Get rid of that. Make it harder to find where the apps are, that's another thing. And if we throw in a third thing in there and delete the apps, then that makes it even easier to not do this thing in the morning. If you've successfully been able to remove social media checking for the first hour of your day, let us know in the comments down below. It is a major one to get through. Number 2, and that's eating an unhealthy breakfast. And I'll leave it up to you to decide what you believe is healthy or unhealthy. I've gone through many different diets, from veganism to high fat, high protein, and everything in between. And while I was vegan for nearly 7 years, I was eating breakfasts higher in carbohydrates. And I used to wonder why I would get a crash an hour later and feel really hungry straight after that period. And I knew that carbohydrates and sugars weren't so good for me first thing in the morning, but it's just this standard, typical vegan diet that allows itself to these sorts of foods. And I'm not blaming the vegan diet, it was the foods that I chose to eat first thing in the morning. Sometimes I would go towards the scrambles of tofu and things like that. But now that I am no longer vegan and I'm eating a high fat, high protein breakfast, I really notice the mental clarity, the ease of energy throughout the day, and I don't have to think about food throughout the day. I can eat my breakfast at 7, 8 o'clock in the morning and not feel hungry till the afternoon. And it just gives me so much more time in front of the computer and being able to have a clearer mind and make decisions. I'll leave the breakfast up to you to decide what you believe is healthier. That's what I've found to work for me over the number of years, decades now. A tip on being able to create healthier breakfasts and make it more sustainable is obviously food prep. But if you've got the time, a fresh breakfast is always best in my opinion. Number 3, nice simple one, stop hitting the snooze button. We know this isn't good for us. You try and go back to sleep for that extra 9 minutes that the iPhone gives you, and you might just be falling back into sleep and the alarm goes off again. That just ruins your morning. If we can remove this the night before, maybe put our phone on the other side of the room, maybe go to bed a little bit earlier so you're waking up naturally, those things will help out a lot. Number 4, now it might sound like an odd one, but it's complaining. I know people that get up in the morning, they'll complain about having to get up early, they'll complain about having to go to the gym, they'll complain about having to go to work, they'll complain about what are they going to eat throughout the day. The list goes on. That is just another thing that compounds to the effects of costing us more time and more money. So instead of complaining, just try and find one thing to be grateful for, and hopefully you can snowball that into your own mind and make 2, 3, 4 things to be grateful for. At least you can take some time, some energy away from the complaining. Number 5, don't clean in the morning. Sounds like it should be a productive thing, but cleaning should be done before. Well, after you've finished doing what you're doing in that area, whether it's the kitchen, the living room, the bedroom, don't leave the mess until the next morning. It's nice to clear off your day, start the day fresh. On top of that, it wastes a lot of brain fuel to begin cleaning when you have to start your day and become more prepared and more efficient. You want to get out there, you want to use your energy efficiently, make more money, and use your time effectively. So cleaning in the morning is not a great idea. Leave that to the night before, but don't do it in the morning. Coming up to halfway in the video, and if you guys have found this useful, I would really appreciate it if you could like the video down below. It helps out my channel on the YouTube algorithm and it just promotes the video out to more people so they can see it and hopefully watch it and also become inspired and make changes in their own lives. So for me, I just see it as a win-win-win, and I'd really appreciate it if you guys could like the video. Of course, you can subscribe and hit the bell notification icon as well. You'll be updated with more videos like this coming up. Let's get back to the top 13. Number 6, similar to the cleaning, this one is don't plan in the morning. Sometimes it works for some people, but I've noticed that it's easier for me to plan the night before because it takes away the decisions from the next morning. And we only have a certain amount of decisions that we can make in a day before we become decision fatigued. And that just means that you compute a lot slower and you start to make decisions not as effectively, not as efficiently as you did earlier in the morning. So planning in the morning just compounds that effect and it takes away a lot of the brain energy, the brain juice that is better served at completing harder tasks. You can see a good example of this when you go into a grocery store. So you've got a couple of different types of grocery stores. You get the discounted ones that have a limited range, and you've got your standard grocery stores that have got almost everything. And you can find yourself becoming decision fatigued in these. At least they've done studies showing this, that you could be in front of the cereals and there are so many different ones to choose from in your standard grocery store, traditional grocery stores. But if you go into a discounted store and they might have 3 or 4 to choose from, you find that a lot easier. You can make the decision quickly and move on. That's the example of becoming decision fatigued and obviously using your energy in a more efficient way. And of course, using your energy in a more efficient way leads to more time for yourself. And of course, if you're using your time more efficiently, that should lead to you making more money, or at least building towards things that are going to make you more money in the future. AKA, the example here, my YouTube channel. It's one of those things that I still need to work on, remove a lot of the decisions, leave that for the night before. But what I'm doing is I've got my notebook right here, and before bed, I get into it, I'll write my notes down for how I want to plan my day, and then I'll come back to that and just at least lay out the first few hours of my day. I've got my morning routine first thing, but what I want to do in those first couple of hours, that's laid out if there are extra things on top of my regular work routine. Number 7, don't listen to negative news. Don't get on socials and scroll through Facebook and look at all that negative news, news.com, whatever site you go to, forget that. Leave that till later in the day if you have to. But of course, negative news just compounds on the other things that reduce our time, our mental clarity, our energy for the day, and all of those things together will reduce what we can produce throughout the day. And that, of course, costs us money. Number 8, and that is inconsistent wake-up time. Don't give yourself an inconsistent wake-up time. Don't go to bed inconsistently. Keep a nice semi-strict schedule of going to sleep and getting up. Why, you might ask? Well, maybe you're not asking because you've heard it so many times before. But if you don't get correct sleep, if you don't get consistent sleep, that really affects your circadian rhythm, and that affects your eating throughout the day, that affects your mental clarity, that affects your energy. Obviously, all of these things go together and they cost us time if we don't get them right. And of course, time equals money. Can there be a day out of the week that you might want to sleep in? Potentially. Obviously, you're going to do it regardless. But biologically speaking, you probably want to keep it consistent every day of the week. And that's why I talk about building a morning routine that you absolutely love, because like you were when you're a kid and you just wanted to get up for Christmas or your birthday because you knew what was coming and you're excited, if you can make that every day, then you're not going to want to sleep in. You're going to feel like sleep is wasting your time, but you know, we need to sleep. Okay, nearly there. We're at number 9. And 9 is don't drink caffeinated drinks first thing in the morning. Start with some water. That is going to get your body clean again. It's going to flush out the toxins. It's going to revitalize you. You haven't drunk water probably in about 8 hours since you went to bed. It's going to increase your alertness. And of course, that brings you more energy. So you can probably see from many of these things so far, they're all free. They increase your energy and they give you a clearer mind, body, all that connection first thing. So if you're looking for that extra energy in the morning because you just can't be stuffed getting out of bed, then try these things. They're really simple, cost nothing, and they're very easy to implement. As for your coffee, or of course my coffee too, I'll leave that just for a little bit later on. I've removed it from my routine as the first thing I do when I wake up. First thing, get some water in. Then give yourself some time, create your morning routine. For me, I like to stretch and do a few other things, which I'll talk about in later videos, and then go to making the coffee. And my morning just stretches out. It's really enjoyable. If you don't have the time, then obviously we need to condense that and find things that will work for you within that time. And if you're not finding enough time in the morning to get at least a few things done before you make your coffee, you're going to bed too late, or you're waking up too late. So change one of those things. Number 10, and I'm gonna run out of fingers after this, and that is don't make your bed. Essentially, don't leave your room a mess. Make it nice and clean. It's a nice win first thing in the morning, and that starts the brain patterns around giving ourselves the best chance to have a productive day. Number 11, don't leave the curtains closed. We wanna open those curtains up, get that nice natural light into our eyes before we start our day. It releases cortisol, which kickstarts the brain, and another simple, natural, effective energy booster is to get natural sunlight first thing in the morning. If you plan going out for a walk in the morning, don't wear your sunglasses. Now, that's my opinion, of course, and there are plenty of those on the internet. I avoid the sun throughout the middle of the day, but first thing in the morning and last thing at night is the best type of light to come into our bodies. Number 12, don't go straight to sitting. Don't wake up and go straight to sit down and have a coffee or your food or jump in the car or obviously car to work. Don't sit down first thing in the morning. Try starting the day with stretching instead. Again, another free, natural, easy to implement energy booster. It circulates the blood, it warms the body, it helps the muscles, it helps the joints, it helps your body start to move so that you don't find yourself just plonked down in a 90 degree looking angle all day while you're sitting at the desk or at the car or whatever else is you do in that position. We know that's not the most healthiest position for our bodies to be in, but it's the most efficient for us when we're working at computers. So try and stretch first thing in the morning. And number 13, lucky last, don't make long or important phone calls in the morning.
Hello?
I can't do this right now, I'm sorry, Mum. Sounds like an odd one, but it goes back to looking at the decision-making process. We don't want to become decision fatigued first thing in the morning, and we're going to give away all of our energy if we're making difficult or long phone calls first thing in the morning. Get a lot of the items on your day done first, and then if you have to, leave those just for a little bit later on, maybe late morning. So it's not saying don't do them at all and leave them till the afternoon when you're tired, but it's just give yourself the best chance in the morning to become more efficient and more productive, because the whole idea of this is to be more efficient and productive, and of course to create more income for ourselves. And I thought I'd throw another one in there, a bonus one. So really it's 14, but I like the title as being 13. The bonus tip for what not to do in the morning that could cost you money and time, drum roll, forget about it. Don't have a hot shower. Now this is gonna be a real bitch for a lot of people, but hot showers, they tend to relax us a little bit, and we don't really want to be so motivated or energetic after a hot shower. A cold shower, on the other hand, that really revitalizes you. That gets the adrenaline flowing, it flushes your system, you feel alive after a cold shower. And if you've never done it, give it a go.
Jason!
I'm fortunate that I live in Australia and it doesn't get super cold where I live, so maybe I could be a little bit of a hypocrite here because cold showers aren't so bad. But for the guys in the colder countries, give it a go if you can. If you don't know much about the cold shower thing and the breathing and the ice and all that stuff, check out a guy called Wim Hof online. He is incredible. So that wraps me up for the top 13 things not to do in the morning which could cost you time and money. As you can see, they are all free to change and the alternatives are quite simple and easy to implement. The name of the game here is to reprogram our bad habits into good habits. So hopefully I've left you with some good things there to at least consider adding into your day. And if so, let me know in the comments down below things that you have removed from your morning routine and you found super effective to better yourself throughout the day. So with that said, I'll thank you for watching the video till the end. Like the video, of course, if you found anything in this video useful, and I appreciate it if you subscribe and hit the bell notification icon. All of these things together help my channel out on the YouTube algorithm, so it promotes the video to more people for them to see it as well. All of the free content going out there. Stick around, I've got plenty more videos coming up on personal finance and lifestyle design. Remember, as always, until next time, have more fun to get more done.